Looking to take your financial knowledge to the next level? You're in the right place. Welcome to Ask Ralph, offering accounting, technical, and financial advice. Whether you're looking to save taxes or improve your business, he's got you covered. Here's your host of Ask Ralph, Ralph Eastop Jr.
Welcome back to the Ask Ralph Show. Today we're joined by Mike Potter. He's with the Intuit company, and he's an Intuit Inside Account Manager. Welcome to the show, Mike.
Thanks, Ralph.
So let's start talking about this. What is QuickBooks Online and how does it differ from the QuickBooks desktop software that a lot of my clients might be accustomed to?
Yeah, a few things. One that's real nice about it is they can access QuickBooks Online from anywhere, anytime, any place. So that means they could access it from their phone, through an iPad or a tablet, or a computer device. The other thing is things are automated on there. They can set up automated features on QuickBooks Online, so things can be done at the push of a button or a snap of a photo, versus having to go log into a computer system and manually input in the information.
Oh, that makes perfect sense. So it really does speed up the time that it takes to do work. So talk to me about some of the benefits of QuickBooks Online and, what kind of devices can you access it from? And does it save time when doing your work?
Oh, absolutely. The nice thing about it is what we hear from a lot of the accounting firms and from our small business segment at QuickBooks from the people that are using the software is they say it saves about 80% more time through QuickBooks Online than on their desktop software. I know one of the issues that some people have is because the format looks a little different, but we do provide the training material that to the accounting firms or to the small business owners to show them how to be efficient in the software, and we're willing to work with them to make it easier for them.
Yeah, and I can speak for my practice. We converted our whole practice base from QuickBooks Desktop to QuickBooks Online, and I have found it to be really beneficial. And the reason I'm saying it's beneficial is there's a lot of integrations built into this. So can you talk a little bit about the integrations, such as the bank feeds and add-ins and rules?
Right. So the nice thing is with bank feeds, that's where you would access your own bank account, and you could actually take your own bank account and input it right into QuickBooks Online. So all the live data as far as the transactions for your business is being picked up in the software. And then you could customize the rules. So if you don't want to show certain bills being paid out within your business and have other ones sorted out, you could customize it so it's staying automated in the system for you, which saves a lot of time. That's one of the biggest features on QuickBooks Online. One of the other issues, too, that we've heard some complaints about is they say the inventory piece in QuickBooks Online may not be as efficient as the desktop software. QuickBooks Online does have an inventory component in it where you could track inventory, but if something needs to be more robust, there's third-party apps that integrate well with QBO that we could recommend other businesses to look into.
So that's a good point, Mike. So if a client has a specific area that they need to focus in on, there's a whole, vast number of these third-party apps that they can tie into their data. But does that introduce any kind of concerns, or does QuickBooks really vet these type of third-party apps?
We have ones that we actually recommend specifically on our site. So you can definitely look at it through the apps.intuit.com site, and it will show you the ones that we recommend. It'll show reviews on there as well.
Okay, so which brings us to the next thing. And a lot of my clients ask me this question. Hey Ralph, if you're going to be putting my stuff, on QuickBooks Online, that's going to be on the cloud. And so, how safe is that data stored on the cloud?
Well, if you're comfortable using online banking, you shouldn't have a problem. And the reason why I say that is, we sit through these meetings as far as where the money's being invested to when it comes to the software. And the majority of the money is being invested into the security features in QuickBooks Online. One of the biggest things is with online banking, it's very secure, which most people know that. They pay a lot of money to keep that information secure. Our security levels on QuickBooks Online is higher than most banks out there.
Oh,
a lot of times, banks have to get in there and approve the data being put in because the security level is so high in the QuickBooks software. So you could definitely rest easy with that.
And I know from personal experience, you're also using multi-factor authentication, and not to bore the listeners, but that means you've got two levels of authentication. For example, you would have a username and password, and then there would be a text code sent. So you would say that's another added level of security.
Right. And sometimes that does bring frustration to people because they don't understand why that's in there. And you make a good point. And the nice thing about that is it wants to make sure it's picking you up from the same server that you're normally using on a daily basis. So if you go to log in from a different server that the system's not recognizing, that's where they want to make sure that you are who you say you are.
Excellent. So that's a good way to prevent, somebody from accessing the account that's not supposed to be, because so your system is wise enough to say, okay, wait a minute, this person's accessing this from a different device.
Right.
Now, I know that with QuickBooks Online, there's a ton of features you can do from your iPhone or from your Android phone. Did you want to talk us a couple seconds about that?
Well, it really depends on what you're trying to do. So I know for a lot of companies, they want to track their receipts as far as what people are spending as their employees on their everyday expenses, or track time tracking. There's different apps that work with QBO where you could use it from your phone to keep track of your time cards or what you're spending out by taking photos of receipts that will submit right to QuickBooks Online. Or there's apps where we'll pick up their GPS location, make sure your employees are clocking in, clocking out, and that data will be tracked right into QBO.
Excellent. So there's just a ton of robust features.
And there's obviously, I was going to say too, obviously the list goes on. I mean, you could think of anything to run your business. We'll find a way to make it work.
Oh, excellent.
And be efficient.
And this is something you can share with your accountant pretty easily, I understand, as well.
Absolutely.
So how does one go about getting, involved with the QuickBooks software? Now, you and I have talked offline a little bit about this, and you really do believe that a relationship with an accountant or bookkeeper is really important and for them to help you.
Yeah, I think it's key. Obviously, with the QuickBooks Online software, it is made to be user-friendly. But when it comes to the bookkeeping portion of it and keeping track of everything, I always say work with a professional. That's how you're going to be able to save the most money in your business and be the most successful. We usually say about 80% of small businesses, from what we see, are more successful when they're purchasing our software, when they work with some type of accountant or a bookkeeper. So as far as getting set up with QuickBooks Online, what I always recommend is two things. One, reach out to your accountant, your bookkeeper, talk about it, refer it to them. They know a lot of times know the area to go. If you don't have one and you're not familiar with it, if you go to our website, we can connect you with our Find a Pro Advisor website where we can match you up with different accounting firms or bookkeepers that specialize in the software. So we can make sure that you're fine running off with the software and you're in good hands.
Mike, I really appreciate you being on the show today and giving my listeners some insight into QuickBooks Online. Thanks a lot.
You got it. Take care.
You've been listening to Ask Ralph, brought to you by Saggio Accounting Plus. Please subscribe to and rate our podcast on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts, and leave us a rating and review. Our podcast is produced by Carolyn Peters. Thank you for listening, and be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter at Ask Ralph Media. You can also hear me each week on 1450 WILM and on 1410 WDOV in Delaware and on the iHeartRadio app. Submit your questions or ideas for future shows by sending an email to AskRalph@AskRalph.com.
The information contained in this episode of Ask Ralph is based on data available as of the date of its release. Saggio Accounting Plus and Ask Ralph Media Inc. is under no obligation to update this content if changes occur. Applying this information to your specific situation requires careful consideration of all facts and circumstances, and any information provided is not to be considered as financial, tax, or legal advice. Please consult your tax advisor or attorney before acting on any material covered.